Alright, greetings YouTube, welcome. I decided to do this video on infamous story that's come out a couple of days ago, and it's regarding this senator in Washington State. Now, for those who don't know, a couple of days ago, this was actually, I believe, on April 21st, there was a senator in Washington, and apparently she was making remarks to, I guess, a bill that they want to denounce that would allow nurses to get mandatory uninterrupted breaks and rest breaks. Now, as nurses, we work long shifts, we work 12-hour shifts, and sometimes we don't get a break. We don't get a break. It's just how the game is. Sometimes you get really busy shifts, you have a busy assignment. Sometimes we stay late to finish off, our charting and so forth. So this particular senator decided to basically say, quote unquote, that she opposes the legislation. So I guess in the Washington state, they want to make this legislation. She opposes it because simply she says, quote unquote, check this out, it does not apply. It districts only like hers with many critical access hospitals which have fewer than 20 beds. Then she says, quote unquote, I understand helping with employees and making sure we have rest breaks, Mrs. Walsh, who voted against the bill, House Bill 1155. We need to care for the patients first and foremost. But then she goes on to say, probably most of those nurses probably play cards for a considerable amount of the day anyhow. I'm sorry, we play cards? We play cards? No, okay, see, Mrs. Walsh. See, this is where you messed up. You see, this is where you messed up really bad. See, when she made this comment, she thought, oh, I'm just making a little sly comment, ha ha ha, kiki or whatever. She didn't realize when she made that comment, it backfired because literally every nurse from North America and overseas all came together as one and dragged her on social media as they really should. They basically dragged her. They commented her. The tweets came out. Instagram memes. There's been Facebooks that have been created for her. Here's the big problem. Nurses don't spend most amount of the time playing cards. I don't know what Grey's Anatomy episode you saw that from. I don't know what Nurse Jackie episode you saw that from. I don't know what Scrubs episode you saw that from. We don't do that. First and foremost, nurses are really busy. Nurses do a lot on their shift. Sometimes we're lucky if we even get a break. The thing with what she said is she clearly does not understand what our occupation is. And she doesn't. She clearly doesn't. And actually, what I did was on Facebook, I had actually made a posting about this, and I even talked about a night that I had. This was a couple years ago. I had worked at a hospital a couple years ago, and I had worked on a ward. And I kid you not, like my shift from the minute I started till the minute I ended was crazy. Basically, you know what? Let me see if I can pull this up here very quickly. Here, I should have pulled this up before I started this video, but you know what? It is what it is. Hold on, let me pull this bad boy up here. But just to show you that she don't know nothing. I'm just gonna keep it 100. You make an ignorant comment like that, you're gonna get dragged, and she got dragged. So this is pretty much what this was something that I wrote a couple years ago. Okay, so Mrs. Walsh, if you think that we nurses, all we do is play cards for the most of the day, check this out. And this is actually considered a normal shift for a lot of nurses. Okay, so let me read this to you. Okay. So typical 12-hour night shift. 1930, receives patient assignment. 1945, patient A rips out their IV. 2040, patient C tries to climb out of bed. 2113, patient D is yelling at my nursing colleague and myself in a different language, refusing all care and taking their meds. 2300, finally gets all patients asleep. 2310, the fire alarm goes off, waking everyone up. 2315, patient D starts yelling again. 2355, fire department comes to shut the fire alarm off. 0010, this is 10 after midnight. Learned that the fire alarm was activated by a disgruntled patient on a different floor who had waited too long to be seen by a nurse. 10 after 1. Patient sees bed alarm goes off. Find patients trying to get out. 1:30. Patient sees bed alarm goes off again. Finding patients sitting out of their bed with their Foley catheter ripped out. Yeah, that's not a really us for those nurses who dealt with that. It ain't pretty. 10 after 2. Patient A starts moaning that she can't breathe. She feels nauseous and cries for me that they're gonna die. 11 after 2. This is 1 minute later. I hold patient A's hand, stare into their frightened eyes, and showing them that I won't let her die. 20 after 2. On the phone with the doctor as they come to see the patient. 3 o'clock. Orders are written for the patient and are followed. 3:02. Patient C bed alarm goes off again and they try climbing out of bed. 4 o'clock. Patient B's IV starts beeping, battery depleted. Searches frantically to get another pump. Now, if you've noticed, we're already at 4 o'clock in the morning. My shift started at 19:30. We're already at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't taken a break yet. I haven't taken a break yet. 5 o'clock. Patient A seems to be recovering. Patient C and D are settled and sleeping. Okay, so you're thinking, okay, things are getting good. Things are getting good. Then it gets interesting. 5:30. I discover patient A lying in her bed motionlessly not breathing. Code blues activated. 5:40. Patient C bed alarm goes off again. Patient D decides to wake up and start yelling. I ignore them and I continue my focus on patient A doing CPR with the rescue team. 5:48. Doctors and other colleagues are also in the room. Patient is pronounced dead. 6:30. Patient's family is notified. Patient C's bed alarm goes off again. I check up on patient B, who was up all night hearing all the commotion. 10 after 7. Daytime staff comes in. The look in my eyes says it all. 10 after 8. Finish last bit of charting, then I leave. 8:11. Sit in my car feeling guilty that I broke patient A's promise. 12 after 8. Heads home, showers, goes off to bed, and repeats the same thing 12 hours later. See, that is a typical 12-hour shift. Now, there are a couple things that were, not every shift you have, a patient dies, but how it was busy from the moment we got into, that's how it is, like, most of the time. Like, we're not sitting there, having coffee and ordering donuts and having a picnic and, and laughing and kikiing up and having a good old funky time. I don't know where she got this from. I don't know where she thought all we do is play cards. Where are we playing cards? Why are we going to play cards? We don't have time to even go to the washroom. So, she made that comment. She got drugged for it from, like, I'm telling you, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Every nurse literally dragged her to the filth for that comment. And now apparently, because she got filth, or she got dragged to the filth. She is now basically saying that she's going to shadow a nurse for 12 hours. She apologizes. She didn't mean what she said. And, and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. Like I said, the only reason why she apologized because she thought it was all ha 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 kiki, that this was all cute and whatever, that she'll make that comment slide through and no one would no one would say anything about that. Not realizing that, like, I think there's a nursing association in Washington, I forget their name, they were not impressed. This went viral. A lot of nurses in the United States were not impressed. This, of course, went internationally, so nurses up here in Canada, nurses across the seas were like, yeah, we don't play cards. Now, maybe she thinks we play cards is because we have a good poker face, and I will admit, doing nursing, you do have to have a good poker face because, you have to hide your emotions sometimes, like you have to, you deal with, life, death, people finding out bad news, all of a sudden, someone finds out they have cancer, or someone finds out that their child's going to die, or someone finds out that this loved one didn't make it after doing CPR for how long. So a lot of us nurses have to do, we have to put on that mask, you know what I'm saying? We do have to put on the poker face, if that's what she's considering playing cards, but that's not what she's considering playing cards. She's thinking that all we do is just play cards, sit, laugh, have a good old funky time, talking about her family, talking about this, exchanging the, nah. So, so Maureen Walsh, you kind of messed up. You really should have never made that comment, and now you're paying for it. I think the average person would know that a nursing job is not for them. So for you to make that comment and say that, that they probably just sit around and play cards is completely disrespectful to our profession. And I hope the shift that you get, that you shadow, I hope it's a very challenging one, so you can see that nurses do so much, and nurses interact with a lot of people too. It's not just nurses. There's there's pharmacists, there's lab techs, there's physiotherapists, there's the doctors, there's the unit clerks. There's it's a whole team together. So yeah, you messed up, my friend. You messed up. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I gotta say. So if you want, you can leave your comments below. What do you think about the situation? Do you think she was crazy? Do you think what she said was unfair? Or maybe there's some of you who've had experiences that you think, yeah, you know what, a lot of nurses just do is sit there and chill and play cards. I don't know what nurses do that, or I don't know what hospital you guys seen that at, but I personally haven't. So yeah, so if you want, leave a comment below, and yeah, take care.